Welcome back to Studio Virginia. I'm Gene Marrano. 25-year-old Derek Perkins writes poetry, hip-hop music, and has acted in several independent films. He also uses an alter ego, C-Zar Wisemen, in his music mode, and has just released a book called Poetic Philosophy, a poetic autobiography that is inspired by real-life feelings and experiences. Angry at times, often towards other young African-American males, Perkins says that ultimately he is an optimist. Music and poetry are interchangeable to him.
They kind of intertwine. I consider myself both. I don't keep myself limited in a box. I consider myself rapper and poet.
And really, in a lot of the hip-hop lyrics that you write, there's a lot of poetry involved anyway.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, there's a lot of poetry involved. It depends on the artist and how they feel.
You know, in your biography that you sent me, you talked about, Derek, that you had, when you were in high school, I guess, a, quote, a craving desire to express yourself through words. And so did you start writing poetry or hip-hop verse when you were in high school?
Well, when I was in high school, I started writing poems first, and they sounded so much like lyrics, so I wanted to cross over. And I always knew I can rap, but it was just that I didn't know how to, formulate it until later. But poems were the first expression before I crossed over to rap/hip-hop. Hip-hop is something I always love. Hip-hop is something I'll always have and drive for with love. Hip-hop is what I live and do. Hip-hop is what I'm attracted to and stuck towards like glue. Hip-hop is what I'm elevating and growing process, not even at the level of the 5 elements as the completion of a true hip-hopper, but I'm not letting that be a stopper. Hip-hop is a good way of being a stress reliever, a special medication that can control anything like your frustration that many don't want to have like a fever. Hip-hop is a free way of being yourself and getting out a message to break boundaries, bridging the gap and reaching all audiences of ages and races. Hip-hop.
When you do write poems, or do you kind of write in segments, or do you sit down and kind of let it all out at once?
Well, I do edit it, but I write all of it in big feelings on each subject. I just try to create a new style format of poems in this new era. That's not how I always write. I mean, I know how to write periods and commas and stuff like that, but in this form, I try to hit people off with something new. Just a stream feelings on how I feel on each subject, depending on the title and how I'm feeling in that particular moment and second in that time of writing.
A tricky subject, opinions bashed by protesters in front of clinics. Yo, a touchy subject, abortion, something so many are against, like Republicans trying to abolish with devotion. They say men are the bad guy, women are the innocent when it takes 2 to tango.
Is there sort of a narrative to the book as you go along?
Well, it's when I say in the disclaimer, what you said, poetic autobiography, it's basically mixtures of feelings of what I went through in life, and
but not necessarily sequential.
Yeah, exactly. It's like negative and positive feelings. Like if you read a poem and it's negative, it's a justification beside after it. It's like positive. Oh, that's why he said that on that poem. It's a mixture of feelings on what I was going through in that time of 1999 and now.
Between you two thieves, can redemption be achieved after many centuries? I doubt that. Mom and Dad, I'll forever haunt your memories.
Yo, critics, who has the power? If it's no money, yo, death can come by the hour.
Why would people want to read about Derek Perkins? I mean, are there things you're sharing in your poems, Derek, that you think are universal, that a lot of people are struggling with or thinking about?
I think it's universal. That's the whole reason of writing poetic philosophy, because not everybody listens to hip-hop, but everybody reads books, everybody reads poems. So that's why I wrote poetic philosophy.
Derek Perkins is a poet and hip-hop artist from Charlottesville.
The world needs a serious change, a big huge facelift and a brand spanking new arranged direction shift. Something politicians in Washington D.C. choose not to hear. Change.
You're also a musician. Talk about that. You've cut a couple solo tracks, and you have a group, the Philosophers, with a partner, Freddie Williams, also aka Polaris, and you have sort of an alter ego. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And gracefully raising families with right and correct gameplay from the parents to the children. Appreciate.
C-Zar Wisemen is like an alter ego from Derek Perkins. Actually, both of them had the same meaning behind it. C-Zar Wisemen means ruler of wisdom with personalities of 7, just like Derek Perkins. Each last name Perkins and Wiseman defines 7 personality traits I have, because I always been told growing up you have several personalities, like Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde. So it was just a little way of mixing it up and saying I'm more than just one dimensional. I'm several dimensions. C-Zar Wiseman is like my feeling of me being a king. You know, I feel like I'm the owner of myself. I feel like I'm destined to drive my life into any kind of success I want. And you know, who's better to do that is a king. You know, a king is the king of himself. So that's how I feel. That's basically what C-Zar Wiseman mean. All my life in situations I've been always told to watch out and keep my eyes on many, even conflict or war, invasion, engagement against many. Who's the enemy? When my people, the African-American race, say watch out for the white American race, but my race at times can be the first to stab me in the back while each be presenting a smile in my black face. Who's the enemy?
That's also the point of some of your poems, is that in poetic philosophy, is that you are basically in control of your life. You shouldn't be blaming other people, that you should not make excuses.
Yeah, exactly. Self-reliance, self-determination, self-defense when needed, self-everything. I'm definitely an independent person. I don't need to look for the government or anybody to get financial wealth, or I don't need to beg no A&R to get me signed out. You know, do it yourself and have them come to you. You know, don't go through the front door, go through the side door if the front door got shut in front of you. You know, that's how I look at it. Be independent.
And you've also started your own independent record label also. Yeah. Kind of help you get there?
Yeah, Philosophy Entertainment. You know, that's basically, you know, entertainment of who likes real hip hop music. If who's getting tired of seeing the same old, who wants to hear and see something new. If you want to hear and see something new, that's me. That's me and my boy Freddie Williams. But doing research, it comes to find out that it's us, the U.S., who attacked dressed up as army soldiers. Who's the enemy? When they say the ones who are wearing the badges are your heroes on the street when serving and protecting, when they protect the wrong individuals, destroying others and the negative affecting, who's the enemy?
Talk about that whole scene, how tough it is, Derek, for, you know, a new act to sign on with someone. I mean, what's the is there a secret? Have you determined what the magic formula is yet?
Well, there's a lot of loopholes. I believe that in order to get signed is, to me, in my opinion, is being, like I said, independent. Of course, you need some type of contacts, but the way technology is today, is so easy to expose your music than what it was 30, 40 years ago.
Whether it's MySpace or Facebook or
exactly.
Sending someone an MP3 or something.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, and it's hard, but I think a lot of people, particularly in hip hop in this Central Virginia area, or all of Virginia, make it harder than what it needs to be. It's bad to control your own destiny.
Pushed off the foster kid, and I don't even know the reason. Instead of all the grieving, I decided to stop believing in that family life.